Okay, so as you can see, I already went ahead and did this eye because I just recorded it and I hated how it turned out. So we're going to do a take 2 on this eye, but we're going to be creating this eye look today. So first, to create this eye look today, we're just going to use the 35O by Morphe. This palette is perfect for fall eye looks. This palette is perfect for all year round eye looks just because it has such a pretty range of colors in it. You have some neutral tones, you have a lot of warm, you have your like burnt oranges, so especially for fall, this palette is my go-to. So first off the bat, I'm just going to take a really fluffy brush by Morphe, the M441, and I'm just going to take this white bone shade, and this shade is basically just going to be to set the entire eye, just so that we have a smooth base. Basically it's just to set your eye primer. I've used translucent powder, I use white eyeshadows, anything that you have on hand will work. So next for our transition shade, we're just going to take this neutral brown color right here and we're just going to dip into that lightly. And I always dust off the excess of my brushes, that way we don't have any fallout. Even though this is a lighter color, I just try to do it with every shade that I use. That way I don't have to worry about as much fallout. Some shades, as a lot of you guys probably know, there's not a bunch you can do to avoid fallout, but today with these shades they're pretty safe. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take that fluffy brush and I'm just gonna start and put that in my crease. And I'm going to focus it on the outside corner until I don't have as much on my brush. So you're going to want to focus that color on the outside corner, and I just do little tiny miniature circular motions, and then I go ahead and lightly will bring it into the inner corner of my eye just to connect everything. This shade is basically just a color that all of the darker colors will blend into to give us that seamless gradient that we're looking for. So next in the palette, we're going to go a little bit darker and take this brown shade and just lightly dipping into that on the tip of the brush, and we're going to dust off the excess. And this shade I'm going to take a little tiny bit lower than the last. I'm just going to, again, just tap it on the outside corner of my eye and do little tiny baby circular motions, and then bring it up, keep it in the crease, and just buff it into the crease lightly. And honestly, it's all about just keeping it in smaller motions. Usually what I do is I keep it more in windshield wiper motions, and that will focus it exactly in the area that you want it to. And then whenever I've applied the color, I will go ahead and go back in with tiny little circular motions, and that's just gonna blend it out. So far, we should have something like this. It's just a really pretty light brown base. Next in the 350, we're gonna jump down and take this red-brown shade and just tapping lightly in there a couple times. And we're pretty much gonna just do the same thing, just a little tiny bit lower. And so you're gonna wanna kind of sit your brush right on top of your lash line, and then it shouldn't hit above where the crease of your eye is. So we're just going to go ahead and tap that on, pack the color on the outside corner first, and then of course when we don't have as much on our brush, we're going to start our little circular motions and the windshield wiper motions. And I like to do the windshield wiper motions, but I honestly feel that the little tiny circular motions, I've just recently within the past few months started doing the little circles to blend out my eyeshadow, and I've noticed a big difference on how easy my eyeshadows blend. I don't have to do as much work, so I would recommend for sure. You just have to make sure that you don't go up too high, because obviously we don't want our eyeshadow blending in with your eyebrow. You do want to have a tiny little bit of space between your eyebrow and your eyeshadow. But yeah, I've noticed a huge difference in just doing the little mini circular motions, and then of course I'll go back in with the windshield wiper motions just to make sure everything's blended out. Also, another big thing is you do not have to have the most expensive brushes, the most expensive eyeshadows to get a really nice blended out eyeshadow look, but products and brushes do matter. What I did when I first started wearing makeup is I actually watched a video on YouTube and I wrote down or I actually took pictures of all of the brushes that they used in the video, and I went to Walmart and found Eco Tools brushes. Those are the very first blending brushes that I ever had, and I used those for quite a few years. I actually just bought my Morphe brushes back probably last fall, early fall time. But I do recommend Morphe brushes. They are very, very cost effective and they're very, very high quality for the price you pay for them. These two brushes, I do not use a ton of brushes either to blend out my eyeshadow. Mainly I go back and forth between these two brushes, and I think I have one other one. But these two brushes, I believe, I'll list them in the description box down below, but I believe both of these brushes are for sure under $7. So that is really, really good price for the quality of brushes that you are getting. And also, I know there are multiple beauty gurus here on YouTube that do have discount codes with Morphe that you can save an extra 10% off when you check out, and I will leave a few of those in the description box down below. But basically what I'm trying to get at is it does matter what kind of brushes and what kind of eyeshadow you use. If you're going in with super chalky, really cheap eyeshadow, you can't really expect it to blend all that great. So next, moving on, we're going to go in with this little bit of a darker red-brown shade, and I'm just going to lightly tap into that shade and dust off the excess. And then I'm just going to go ahead and with a little bit of a smaller blending brush, I'm going to take my Morphe M433 and I'm just going to pack that on the outside corner and lay most of my product there. And then I'm going to start with my little circular motions. And then I'm going to just bring that up into the crease. And then I'm just going to grab my bigger blending brush from before and just go ahead and go over all of those edges, just to make sure everything is really blended out and make sure we don't have any harsh lines. So next, for our final and darkest shade, I'm going to go ahead in with this darker brown on that same Morphe M433 brush, and I'm really going to concentrate this on the outside corner. I'm literally just going to pack that all over the outer third of my eye and keeping it in more of like a V shape. I'm pretty much just gonna lay that down, and then I'm gonna switch to my fluffier brush and I'm just gonna run that over it to get rid of all of the little edges. And you can always go back in with that color to deepen it up a little bit more. It's better to start out with a little bit of product and build it up later than to apply too much and have a big dark glob on your eye that is super hard to blend out. Okay, now that the hard part is over, I'm just going to go ahead and take a little flat definer brush, and I'm going to take this shimmer color in the palette. I'm just going to load my brush up with that. And then, me personally, I don't really like to use any type of shimmers or metallic without spraying it. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray a little bit of my all-nighter setting spray on that. And this is just going to help me get the most sparkle out of my shimmers. So to start out, I'm just going to go ahead and start packing that on my lid. I'm only going to take it about halfway out. But I do like to start at the inner corner and kind of follow my natural crease of my eye. And me, since I do have hooded lids, as you can see as I did on this side, I do take it up a little bit past the actual crease in my eye just because I have hooded lids. So my eyes are open and I have lashes on and all of that going on. It's a little bit harder to see my eyeshadow just because I have that lovely extra skin right there. But once I get that put in that crease, I just go ahead and with the extra on my brush, I just go ahead and go up to that line and drag it straight down toward my lash line. And by dragging this, you're going to get a lot more glimmer and shine out of your metallics also. Okay, and once I got that shimmer put on my lid, I'm just going to take my tiny little baby blending brush again, and I'm just going to kind of place it on my eye where the brown and the shimmer meet, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle it back and forth. And this will kind of blend that line in a little bit. And then just at the very end, I just like to go over that line just a tiny bit, just to soften it up a little bit, just so we don't have super harsh lines. Okay, and now that we got the shadow on, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop on a pair of lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I just went ahead and popped on some lashes and put on some lip gloss really quickly, and while I was doing that, I realized, I'm like, Ashley, you're such an idiot. I left my bottom lash line completely blank. So all I did is I took this little baby pencil brush and just took that darker reddish brown color and just ran that under there really quickly. And also I popped just a normal black eyeliner in my waterline just to give it a little bit of something, just so we're not like super glam, like all done up on the top and then nothing on the lash line. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. I hope you guys could get a few helpful tips and tricks from this, and I also hope you had so much fun watching. So yeah, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel before you leave. But that's all I have for this one, so I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!